stillwatchinvestigations.com.
Oh, it's only 2. Okay. He or she.
It's
only 2.
We have a couple that's all pointed to the same site.
Yeah. For anybody just joining, we're going to be calling the wife of one of our clients.
One of our clients.
It's the wife of one of our cases. Got a little pandemic gum.
And so she wants to share her experience, and she wants to talk about what she did about it.
So this is the pregnant girl case, is what a lot of the followers refer to it
Yeah,
as.
on the TikTok.
And some people call it the white truck case. I call it the won't come home case because
he wouldn't. She called me because he wouldn't come home.
Yeah, which is kind of like that other case, which is on the show.
Oh, that's right.
Which I always have to not say the name of that case.
Right.
But that case is featured on the show, and I have some behind the scenes footage that I want to post on it. But I needed to ask you first to make sure. All right. I see you guys. I see you. Oh, hi. You better get off here.
Who is it?
My husband.
This is so weird, but...
The one person that'll make my cheeks go all red had to hop on here. You guys are great. Just been way of jumping in. You guys are great. Thank you. I'm new. What's the topic? So we are going to call here in a few minutes. We're just giving some folks some time to jump on.
Well, we'll just tell them what happened is she wanted to know why her husband wouldn't come home because they moved away from Nashville together as a family. And then he said, I'm going to go back and make sure things are okay at our company that we left in the hands of our employees who are very capable.
Here in Nashville.
He was going to come check on them.
And they have rental property here.
Yes, they have 2 rental properties. Or I think it's 3. But so they have several little rental properties around. And so he just didn't come home. And he wouldn't answer her phone calls. Anyway, he wouldn't answer her. And she got suspicious. So... After he missed a few key events, she hired us to go see what was going on. And then we had, a hard time. There's so many houses involved, figuring out where he was. But once we got hold of him, it was on.
Yeah. So this is, there's somebody asking who's the lady on the right, which I'm guessing is you. So you guys are on my page. This is the owner of the company, Still Watch Investigations. She's also my mother. We have a show on Discovery Plus. Who's Still Watch Ty? Hey, girl. We have a show on Discovery Plus called Secrets, Lies, and Private Eyes. And I was talking about on my last live how introverted I am and how strange it is for me to be on camera and stuff and tell stories. But, she's so good at telling stories. I'm like, we have to get you on the live so you can tell the stories about some of these cases. We get questions on a lot of the clips about the preacher case because part 2 got taken down. So everyone wants to know what happened with that case. Because that's an 85-year-old preacher which I think I'm off on his age a little bit. I think I'm actually making him a little younger.
Yeah.
But I say 80 because 85 is plenty old, but he's a little older than that. 85-year-old preacher who had a girlfriend that the wife knew about, but then also was seeing strangers at a motel. And we figured all this stuff out, but clip 2 got taken down. So I came on to talk about it, and the whole time I'm like, man, Renee's got to tell this story because the whole thing with the wife thinking that he was maybe going to have her killed,
right?
The whole deal. So we'll go into the preacher case in a second. 85 is really old to be doing that mess. I know.
You have no idea.
My attorney hounds me about getting a PI for my case, but in all honesty, I have yet to find anyone. Hey, so I'm not sure if you're here in Nashville, but when an attorney suggests a PI, it's probably a really good idea. Almost everything that we do as far as infidelity and child custody always ends up winning that person's case in court because there's just nothing the judge can do when he has hard evidence in front of him.
Yeah, if we're standing there, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
But sometimes they realize that when we're standing there and they'll fold up in the corner over there.
I think we got No Texas, if that's the same. Yeah, I mean, if you can't find anybody,
just send me a note because I have connections all over the country. One of my connections is licensed in, I want to say 30 states, and he's been a PI for 30 years.
Yeah. And that's what we're working on, too, is training people all over with our methods and stuff. And
Right.
We can kind of handpick who we choose in each state to work different cases.
Yes.
Yeah, it can be super rewarding. Could also be super boring. So the preacher case, the won't come home case, which I think we'll handle the won't come home case first because we're going to call the wife. Yeah. And I don't want to keep her waiting.
Yeah, let's get her on
I guess so. Okay. So right now, for everybody that's on, if you want to be part of this conversation, you guys stick around. Everybody new that's joined or joining, I don't turn the manager and lawyer of my uncle's trust. I don't trust the manager and lawyer of my uncle's trust.
If it's Tennessee, I know a good lawyer for that.
You just worked a case.
About that. Right.
I seriously want to pursue this as a career. Well, cool. Hit us up on our website. We'll try to get you some resources.
Yeah.
So if you haven't seen the clips or you're not familiar with it, you can scroll over to the page, I'm sure, and you can watch whatever clips on it. There's 4 total. Won't come home part 1, won't come home part 2, part 3, and then the conclusion. But I think what we'll do is you go over the case again. She calls you, hires you, tells you what. You kind of go over what the case is about. And then we're going to call her and we're going to let her talk to Renee about how she felt, how she confronted her husband, the whole deal. And then if you guys have questions, I'm going to try and keep up. And I will jot down some questions and we'll ask her. Florida. Okay, cool. All right, so we need to call her something. We're going to call her Mary. So when Mary calls you...
Do we need to tell her we're going to call her Mary?
I think she's on here.
Oh.
If you're on here, your name's Mary tonight.
So we're going to call you Mary to protect the names of the innocent.
So this is an infidelity case, cheating spouse. So when Mary calls you, what does she say? Help. What's going on?
Mary called and said, so I've been married for a lot of years, more than 10, less than 20. And we have grown children, coming into their teenage years. They're not toddlers. And my husband hasn't been home in 3 weeks. And now he's not even taking my phone calls. So I don't know where he sleeps at night, but I need you to tell me where he sleeps at night and see if there's any other vehicles there. Okay, so she gives me several addresses. So it took us about 2 days to really figure out where he was waking up in the morning. And it seemed like as soon as we spotted him, he disappeared. Like as soon as we found him at this one address, all of a sudden the next day he was at the other one. So I was like, this dude's hopping houses. Well, that's nice that he has those options. So then...
we worked this for like a few weeks.
Right. Because get this, what I think happened, I think he noticed us. And I think that he sent the girl away. Because remember, we kept checking on him for like 2-3 weeks, nothing. No women, no females came out of the house.
Right, but like a sister or something.
Right.
And there were some kids coming and going.
Right, and so all of that was totally normal. But I remember she called, and I had already had a feeling.
Well, I was like, what about this other property? And then me and Chris on a Saturday, when we weren't even working the case, we're driving down through there, and I said, hey...
Let's pop over. Yeah, we kept popping over. So did I.
Take me by the house and let me look. And when I got there was that vehicle in the driveway.
Right.
In the yard.
From another state.
And I was like,
right,
that's new.
Yeah, that was new.
So we got the tag, found out it was a woman. Then we started staking that house out. And that's when the pregnant girl came out.
That's when we saw her.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know then, like when you were talking to the client, did she already know? Or were we giving her the news that...
No, she did not. Oh, did she already know about the girl?
Yeah,
she already had a clue.
Okay. And so this particular girl, when I was like, I think she's pregnant, our client pretty much confirmed, like, yeah,
she's like, I thought so. Yeah.
So, yeah.
She needed proof.
Yeah. And I got, like, a lot of burrito baby, fat shaming stuff in the comments. I'm like, come on, like I already knew she was pregnant before I put the clip up saying
I didn't think she looked overweight.
Oh no, she's a tiny little thing.
Right.
But you know how when someone's pregnant, you can, it's like a certain look that you get when you're pregnant. And obviously some people might be mistaken as pregnant, but I meant no offense to the woman.
Well, she's not like some chick with a big old beer belly. There's a little baby in there.
Hi, Bitsy. Married dude. Are you trying to answer questions? Oh, babe, are you in here answering questions? That's sweet.
Aww.
You're going to help us moderate? You must be answering questions. Married dude. Or he's in here flirting with the other girls. Okay, so now there's almost double the amount of people. So I'm going to say one more time, we're going over a case from one of the clips on my page that gets a whole lot of questions. We're talking about the people call it the white truck case, the pregnant lady case, the won't come home case. And my husband's calling me a nerd, I think. But he's totally distracting me. That gad life you guys see, that's my husband. You guys can harass him if you'd like.
Yo, Chris, love G.
So we're talking about a case, and I don't want to keep her waiting any longer.
Okay,
so we're gonna call our client. Now this is the wife from that case. We found out that her husband was actually cheating on her and had a pregnant girlfriend living in the wife's rental here in Nashville. And the wife had moved to another state and was waiting for the husband to join her, but he wouldn't join her. Hence the name.
Well, I think they all went up there and then he came back.
Okay, but he wasn't coming back.
Right, he never came back.
Yeah, he's not coming home.
That's a pretty neat trick.
Yeah.
Move her up to Indiana.
Wasn't just not coming home from work.
Oh, I said it.
Oh,
damn.
Don't find her in all of the state of Indiana. We gotta be careful. Okay? We gotta be careful.
Okay. I need to be reprimanded.
All right, here we go.
All right, we can call her.
I don't know what sewer means.
Here we go.
Must be having a whole conversation.
Okay, maybe I should tell her, so.
Oh, yeah. Well, she knows we're calling. Also.
Okay, are you ready to go live?
Let us know.
She's ready. Okay.
Sound-wise, we're going to put her on speakerphone, and we'll try to, not get this too jumbled up. But if there's any issue with hearing, just let us know. And Mary, if you would,
Mary.
Just
hi.
Hi. I think you'll speak clearly enough. I think it'll be fine. All right, so I'm going to let you and Renee have it.
Well, basically, Mary, I'd already told the people watching here, that you called me because you and your husband had relocated to another state, and after he got everybody up there nice in their house, then he came back to this area, and he never returned to your area.
And pretty much that's what happened. We've always had a house here in Indiana. Because I seen you said Indiana. Yeah, I was watching live.
We're trying.
We've always had a house here in Indiana. We're from Indiana. We just moved to Nashville. We opened up a company down there, and he just stopped returning calls. Stopped basically act like we weren't together no more when we're married. So I had my suspicions, and I consider myself a little PI myself because I figured some things out on my own, and then I needed more proof as far as the whole pregnancy thing going, just for divorce proceedings and everything like that. But
what made you decide to actually go with a private investigation company? You knew you needed proof
because
before.
Of the fact that, we have friends and stuff down there, so it's not like I wasn't gonna have them kind of spy for me, even though I'm pretty sure they would.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't just hop down there anytime I can. My kids are grown and in high school, and they have activities, and it'd just be easier to have someone outside the case, outside of my close family, and not it'd just be easier.
Yeah. Well, and also, if your husband's cheating, you kind of don't know who to trust.
Exactly.
What if I ask the one he's seeing?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know this chick. She's literally 10 years younger than him, and she's stupid, and I've never met this person, from the video stuff you guys sent to me. She actually found my email and emailed me. Very ratchet and very, just by her tone of email and okay, you're young and dumb and have no idea what you're doing. But have fun with him.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if Renee told you, but she was just like train smoking too. Just big pregnant belly and just train smoking up. I was like, oh.
I seen that in the video and it was pretty disturbing. I even messaged him about it. It was like I literally messaged him. I think he thought I was down there. It's fine because I was like, yeah, I go, your girl is really nasty. I go, pregnant, and she has, I mean, obviously she has no disregards for a marriage because she knew he was married.
Yeah.
It's not like it was a shock to her. If it was, I wouldn't be as mean about it. But she knew the whole time he was married, had a family, everything. And basically, she seen we had money, nice cars, obviously multiple homes. And she's like, oh, I want a part of it. Well, sorry, honey, it's all mine. So good luck with that.
Yeah, that was a question I got a lot too, was did the girlfriend, you know, because some people are like, leave them alone, you don't know their business and all this. And I'm like, well, I mean, I kind of do know their business, but a lot of people were like, does the girlfriend, you know that he's married? Maybe she doesn't know, it's, you know, and all that. And I was like, I'm pretty sure she knew.
She knew. She 100% knew. When she emailed me, she was like, I just told her, you know, you're just a little side piece, like you're nothing special. And she's like, well, I'm the side bitch living like the main bitch.
Oh. So speaking of that though, isn't he still paying your bills?
Oh yeah, of course. He takes care of me, and that's one thing. He doesn't even want a divorce, so he's like, he wants his cake and eat it too. Yeah. I'm like, that's fine. You can go ahead and continue to provide for me. I'm going to do me, and I'm going to continue to live my life while you have to handle a newborn baby. And I got teenagers, and I'm almost 40, and I can pretty much go and do as I please.
Yeah.
On your dime.
Yeah. And so he's got several kids now, I understand.
Yes.
Yeah. Multiple. Yeah. We don't have to say how many, but a lot.
Yeah.
Enough to where he needs to knock it off.
Enough to where, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like I said, she has no idea what she's getting into. I have 20 years of knowing this man, and she thinks she won a prize, but in all actuality, she did not.
Yeah, so. She's got a dumpster fire on her hands.
Maybe we should put him on a vasectomy doctor's mailing list as a courtesy.
He refuses to pull out like Bush did. That's what one of the comments, I don't know if you're reading the comments at the same time, but...
Oh, no.
Side piece will not stand for him supporting you. She ain't got any choice.
She has no choice.
I know.
Since I own everything, and he literally, he worked. Like, he has no ownership in none of our companies. I do.
Chris said it.
And so, yeah, he has no choice but to support me.
Yes.
Well, good for you for still getting the support.
I really admire you for not breaking down and belaying the victim.
I have my moments. I had my moments where I wanted to drive down there and just burn the house to the ground and, you know.
Sure.
But yeah, I have kids and I have life and future, so.
Somebody named Gina.
Well, let me ask you this. So everybody always wants to know the price, and you paid, by the way, up front, and as you know, never complained. And I want to know, do you think it was worth it?
Yeah, it was, because I didn't pay for it. He did.
I had a question. I'm trying to think of what it was. I know I wanted to ask about like the feelings, because I remember some stuff that people have been asking.
She is admirable and strong.
Yes, and that is the point. Like, this is entertaining. This is fun.
Girl, take all his shit live.
Live your best life. Yeah, so many people have gone through this, and to hear it from somebody else about their experience and to show their strength. And I remember what it was about strength.
I mean, when I first found out, it was. I'm not gonna lie. Like it hit me like a ton of bricks, because literally there was no. Usually, a woman knows. Like, we have that intuition, and there's things that would be different, and there was nothing different. He just stopped answering phone calls just abruptly, and I'm like, okay, what? Even if like we're arguing and fighting, and we can't go a day without talking to each other. Like, the most is like a couple hours, and then he's like, okay, are you done being mad, or that sort of thing. And so it's just like what was really hard is our kids, because our kids are older, and it just kind of like having to see them kind of like deal with things and see kind of like their family get torn apart.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so that I wanted to speak to that with as far as strength goes. Some clients, they just go off the deep end when they find out the news, versus some clients who are very level-headed and they take that information and they use it effectively, like against the partner, whether it's a man or a woman. They take that information and they go to court with it, or they figure out the best way to use it, versus going off of just raw emotion and blowing up on the person, or just totally
because usually when we find out a client, I'll tell a client, please don't tell your spouse that we know. Give me 24 hours. We need a little bit more.
Right.
And a lot of times there's like two kinds of clients. There's that one, you wake up in the morning, they're like, I couldn't help it. I told him last night. And I was like, get it, girl. You had to do it. You know, honest people have a problem keeping their mouth shut.
Amanda, she said, I'd be that deep end client with knives.
Right. And then, but then there's the other ones that just lay quiet and cool, and they never tell them, but they do things like they start building their life over here while... that's tougher to stay in a relationship and keep that face.
Oh yeah, it's definitely the harder thing. It's totally
really
understandable.
I used to be that client where I would have just went off the deep end and just be like, okay, that's it. I'm gonna freaking hurt the crap out of you. And but you know, I'm just like, no, let's be level-headed about this. Like we have a lot tied in with each other, and that's why I'm just like, when she thinks like the way she talks and just like how she acts, and I'm just like, honey, you really think I'm going anywhere? Like, no. Yeah. I'm not. Like, we have a whole business together. We have vehicles, properties. Like, girl, he is not going to get rid of me. I'm the one that pushes him to be better. Mm-hmm. And as long as my kids get their college degrees paid for, and once my son graduates college, he takes over everything. And after that, I can be through and done with all of it.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, like, I mean, was it tough? Yeah, it is. It's still tough. It's a daily struggle. I'm not going to sit there and say, like, I don't have breakdowns and meltdowns. I had one this morning. So, it just, I know bigger and better things are going to happen. And I've been dating and going out and just living my life. And my kids approve of it because I spoke to them about it. And, you know, they don't really have any conversations with their dad that much anymore. They don't really talk to him. Recently, he tried to reach out to them, and they don't want nothing to do with him right now, which they're old enough to make that decision, and I'm not going to force nothing on them.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah, the pregnancy thing, I guess, would have been, I mean, if you get cheated on, or if your relationship's in trouble and you find out what you've kind of suspected and you get that news, like, that heartbreak is like undescribable, right? But then the pregnancy aspect, even when because I didn't know that you had any clue at all. And so when I seen her come out of the house, and you know, I'm just in my car all day alone, like for hours, waiting for anything. And she finally comes out of that house and comes around the front of that truck, and I see a pregnant belly, and I'm like, oh man, you know, because I know
when I saw it too, I was like, no.
I know what that means.
I was
you know?
praying that it wasn't true, because he would, when I went down there, I did confront him. Yeah. And she refused to come out of the house, which I don't blame her, because I probably would have went to jail.
Yeah.
I asked him, because I was like, is she pregnant? Like, for him to just up and just like stop all communications and everything, it was like something else is not adding up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, you got caught, whatever, but...
And you have 2 kids with him, right?
Yeah, I have 2 teenagers now, with him. I asked him multiple times to his face, like, is she pregnant? Just have some balls and tell me. Mm-hmm. He denied it. He's like, no, she's not pregnant. You know I don't want no more kids. And, well, come to find out, you know, she said she was pregnant, but again, that she could just be saying that just to make me mad. So that's another reason why I was like, you want to know what? I need to know.
Yeah.
Like, if she is pregnant, because he knew. Like,
right.
We could probably work on something, you know, something. I mean, it's not 100%, but the whole a baby on the way, no. That's it.
Yeah, that's the deal breaker.
That's the deal breaker. Like, no, dude, like.
He has other commitments.
Yeah, and he did. We had somebody asking if he tried to deny it. Yes, he did try to deny it
at first.
And at first, which most do.
Yeah, that's common.
I did want to ask about something that sticks out in my head, because I go back and watch the clips sometimes to edit them and things like that to put them on TikTok, and I noticed in one of the clips that when he went and met her in that parking lot. He's eating a slice of pizza, and she gives him a clean shirt, and he sprays cologne. Right after that interaction, she handed him a check, what looked like a check to me, almost like a payroll check. And then he followed her over to the bank right across the street, and he went into the bank, and she sat and waited and smoked several cigarettes sitting in the vehicle.
And that's her bank, right? That's our client's bank.
That's what I was wondering. It's right across the street from where we caught him in that parking lot. Yeah. I don't remember the bank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, that was my bank.
But, yeah, so my question was that her dealing with your money?
I pray to God it wasn't, because I will cut him off on everything. So,
well, yeah, I wasn't sure if that was mentioned in the report or not, but
so more than likely, because from the jobs that we do, like we get checks or whatever. So if it was like, because I did tell him too, it's like if she has access to any of my information, I swear to God, like I will destroy your life. I will let all our clients know that we deal with, on a regular basis, like our regular clients. I will let them know we are done. Like, companies shut down, and he has a lot to lose. Like, he has a lot to lose in this.
Mm-hmm. Well, she did sit out in the vehicle, and he went in. And I think they went to a barber shop after that, which seemed...
Yeah, because he plays a great stepdaddy. Just saying.
Yeah. You can scroll back and see the comments. Okay. Chain. Oh, are you telling people? My husband's on the chat, so I'm trying to figure out if he's talking to me or is he talking to them. I'll tell everybody real quick. We're private investigators in Nashville. We're talking to a client right now. It was an infidelity case. We found out her husband was cheating on her and the girlfriend was pregnant. And the client was kind enough to come on live with us because there's so many questions about the case, and so she's kind of answering those questions for us. Thank you. I see little gifts popping up. And I appreciate those. Thank you. So if you guys have any particular questions, I'm going to try and pay attention to the actual feed here. If you guys have questions for her, if you've been through something like this, or if you suspect something's going on, feel free to ask. But yeah, so earlier I was talking about the pregnancy thing. Yes, I just thought the pregnancy thing would just be like such a blow, to find that out, and a deal breaker for sure. And I think, with infidelity, there's this automatic response of like, well, it's over. The relationship's over. And
that's not always true.
Yeah, and I like that topic because I feel like I think it's more common. I think it's more common for them to stay together than to break up. And I think that should be okay if that's what works in that relationship, and there shouldn't be that judgment of like, he's going to do it again or whatever, because maybe he is, but like let people define their own relationships and their own boundaries in their relationships. Mm-hmm. And, I just know from experience with friends, it's like, just let them do what they want in their own marriages.
No, I was just thinking about some experiences. I don't know.
That's why we're good at it. Lots of experience. It's not always easy to just leave.
Because your man dropped $1,200 at the strip club doesn't mean it's over.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sorry if you know who I'm talking about. I love you.
When is the baby due? So she was very pregnant in that clip.
She's 30 to 40 days from delivering, yeah.
Yeah, I believe she's due at any time. Mm-hmm. Just from now that I replay things in my head.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably true. Someone asked if he really is her, like if he's the real baby I don't know if he's the real baby daddy, and I did tell him, it's like, don't be stupid, like she's young and she's dumb and all she sees money and cars and houses. Get a DNA test. Either way, if it's not yours, I'm still not going to be with you, but don't be dumb.
Right.
Don't take care of something that's not yours.
Yeah
I go ahead and start taking care of the ones that you do have and stop playing stepdaddy of the year.
Right.
Yeah, so a couple questions that are coming up. Did she say that he was still supporting him? No, he is still supporting her. The husband in this case is still supporting the wife, even though he is with the girlfriend. And yes, he did get her pregnant. That we are assuming. There's no 100% that he's the baby daddy, which is the client's point, is whether it's yours or not, You
played the game.
Yeah, you played the game. You played for keeps. So might as well be your kid. So yeah, I think that answered those questions. Yes, he really did get her pregnant, and he is still currently taking care of his wife financially, but they are split up. Did you say something about them running off to another state recently?
Yeah, they like to travel back and forth to California because I believe that's where she is from.
Okay. I know when we talked the first time I said, so my TikTok about your case kind of blew up on here. And you were like, maybe that's why they ran off to another state.
They did. They hightailed it out of here.
Yeah. I don't know if, like, I mean, it had to have gone through his For You page. I've seen, like, it has, like, over, like 1 million views.
Yeah, 2 million now. The white truck clip hit 2 million today. And I moved it from the top of the page because...
Oh, you can move them?
Well, so you can pin a few things at the top of your page.
Okay.
So I had so many questions on that case that I was trying to pin them at the top so people can find them. Because I started posting this stuff not realizing what a jumbled mess it was going to become.
Right,
So I'm trying to get better at organizing the clips and labeling them so that people can find them, because each case will now have its own name, and so you can find it that way. Well, that case was so popular and there were so many questions and people were having trouble finding, so I was trying to pin the ones they were asking about at the top. So anyway, but you can only pin 3, so then it got even more confusing because I could only pin part 1, 2, and 3, but then part 4 was like buried. So anyway, I'm working on the organization. And I hope that we get more clients that will come on and talk with us, because
I already have a couple, but some clients are a little high strung.
yeah, I don't know if we could control them on
Right,
live.
and so,
Yeah.
you got to be careful. Now, this particular client, Mary, she's cool.
Yeah. To answer D. Martin's question,
Oh, cool. She's reading them now.
Yeah, she might get tired of it, and eventually she's gonna want to be his wife. But she has to sit here and get a divorce first.
Yeah.
But he's still not gonna stop taking care of me. So.
And we don't know her status.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she always had multiple kids with her, too. And one of them, I thought, looked too old to be her
Hers,
child.
I thought that too. Too tall, and she's too young.
Yeah, that one child that came out, I was like, that's got to be like her nephew or something. She's not old enough to have that. He looked to be like 10 or 12 years old, and she looked to be in her early 20s or something.
Yeah, she's in her early 20s.
Yeah, so I thought, I mean, either she was a teen mom or that's somebody else's kid, but both 3 times that I see her, she always had like a gangle of kids with her.
Right.
Yeah. And I would always tell him about it. I was like, I like how you play stepdaddy, but ignore the kids you have. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. How long had he been in Nashville where he was supposed to had already come back home with you guys?
So we're not the typical couple. We're a commuter couple, so we travel back and forth all the time from Indiana to Nashville. And it's a lot easier because our kids are grown, so we can do that. But he had left in May, and it was for a big project down there, and so we would just be traveling back and forth, and all of a sudden, like, we're preparing for our daughter's party at the end of July, so it was really hard for me to go back and forth, and all of a sudden he just stopped talking for like the month of June, just stopped all communication, and I'm like, wait a minute, what? She tried to hit the baby daddy lottery.
I was going to say,
I seen that.
He had a crisis and she had a lottery ticket.
Love this. I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. I see that we have a whole gangle of new people. So we're private investigators in Nashville. We're talking to a client. Her husband cheated on her, got the girlfriend pregnant, out of state, and she was kind enough to come on here and have a conversation with us because we had so much attention and questions about this particular case. Especially around the fact that the girlfriend ended up being pregnant. And so you guys feel free. We're trying to keep up with questions. She can read your questions too. I dare you to come for me. She can read your questions too, so feel free to keep them coming. And if your question comes and goes, just ask it again because it's going fast. So we're trying to catch.
Is he daring us to come for him?
I don't know.
You don't want none of this.
What is that W? What is that?
But we have had some subjects that, if they're ever watching this, I got to give you one of these, all right? Because he started chasing us.
Oh, which one?
It was a long time ago, but
okay. I'm like, which one? We have so many people chase us.
anyway, he pulled up right in front of us and waved, and then took off, and then, we were like, okay, wait a minute. So we didn't chase him, but when we got on the freeway, he was chasing us. And then we let him go, and he waited for us down the road. Anyway,
he was just playing cat and mouse.
It turned into be quite the funny situation.
The TV program you can watch on Discovery Plus, which if you have Verizon, you can get it for free. If you're a student, it's $2.99, and I think full price it might be like $4.99 or $6.99 or something. It's not that much. And you can cancel it, obviously, but just buy it and go watch the show. Discovery Plus. It's called Secrets, Lies, and Private Eyes. I want to work with you ladies. Hit us up at stillwatchpi.com. We're trying to send out as much information as we can on resources for people. Do we ever get scared? Yes. We're going to answer some of the questions for us in a few minutes once we get done talking to Mary. Have you seen any questions come up that you want to answer or anything you else want to say?
Someone did ask about the big project. Yeah, I'm assuming the big project was never an actual big project, but little projects, and the girl was a big project.
Yeah.
we know what your big project is, bro.
We should rename the case the big project.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ex-husband has been MIA.
One on my Discovery Plus right now. Okay. And yeah, so the show features a couple different cases, not this one in particular, but there's an infidelity case. My first murder case is on there. We also have another one coming up next week, which we can't talk about yet because it's not out yet, but there is another episode featuring us on Wednesday this coming week, which is neat. Mary, have you watched the show?
No, I haven't got on yet to watch.
Oh, cool. Well, wait till you do.
Yeah.
That'll be, you'll have to tell us what you think.
Yeah.
What were the signs of cheating?
So for myself and my marriage, like there wasn't any signs because of the fact that we've always had open communication. Like he could grab my phone, I could grab his phone. Like he didn't act different. He didn't change his appearance. Nothing, none of the major signs. He just abruptly stopped communicating.
Okay. And do you think, I just had a question pop up, do you think this is the first time he's done this? Because you guys have been together a long time.
No, it's not the first time.
Okay.
We had split up a while when our kids were younger. We split up for a while because he had cheated. We weren't married at the time, so it was a lot easier just for a clean break. But we were also in our early 20s. I'm like, okay. And we got back together in late 20s, early 30s. And we're like, oh, we're grown up. But I guess someone didn't grow up as fast.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I see it come up, and I could be totally wrong. This could be a woman saying this, but I see this come up, and usually it's men in the comments or whatever, and they say things like, well, if the bed wasn't cold or whatever. And the thing about that is every relationship, I know that was in their experience, something they experienced was like the bed got cold, so they went somewhere else, but
no, definitely that did not get cold. We did not have that issue.
Yeah, but the thing is like, yeah, that happens in some relationships, and yeah, that might be the reason in some cases, but there are so many relationships that this happens, and it's for all different kinds of reasons. So I'm not sure why people feel the need to interject. It's almost like they're telling.
Well, maybe they're trying to reconcile what they did.
That's what I mean. It's like they're like projecting their own experience or something, because obviously there's going to be so many reasons. There's so many different personality types. There's so many different kinds of relationship dynamics. You cannot just say like, oh, well, she must have not been giving it to him. That's why. Like, give me a break.
That definitely was not the issue. He was very much satisfied.
Yeah.
Without getting kicked off of TikTok. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
Somebody said start making cash withdrawals. Just to let you know, I've been on that.
Yeah.
Nice. Can I get an amen?
Yeah. We're going to have a separate conversation. I'm trying to, what is that, an OF? Is that what we're calling it? I got undies. We're getting claps. What should I do if my fiance shut down on me and won't talk to me? We were not even fighting.
There's a reason. Well, first of all, there's a book called How to Get Your Husband to Talk to You, and I suggest you read it. We're
going to need an Amazon book list.
Right.
For the between parent and child and all the different...
Yeah, Between Parent and Child's the best book I ever read. It'll change your whole dynamic in your house, and people won't be able to abuse your kids and there's one called between parent and teenager. And if you're a teacher, there's one called between teacher and child.
What about poly relationships? I mean,
I don't share.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, yeah, it depends on the boundaries of each relationship. In this particular relationship, they weren't interested in poly, obviously.
Right.
Some relationships are, which is fine.
And we don't get those kind of cases. Although every once in a while, I'll have like a girlfriend will hire me to expose the relationship to the wife just so she can get them to break up.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I imagine those would get really tricky because jealousy is just a natural human emotion. I mean, it has everything to do with our own egos.
Mm-hmm.
But it's very hard for people to control. So I imagine that would start to play on those relationships. I don't know. I've got friends that are poly, though. Great people. Did you just judge people you don't even know?
I'm like, which ones?
Oh.
Show yourself.
See, they're scared to let people
Thank
know
you.
because then they
Whoever
get
said
judgment.
D. Martin, thanks.
D. Martin, she said thanks. Hope you heard that. Well, respect, I understand. Yeah, cool. Okay, well, we're gonna, Mary, if you want, you're welcome to just stay right on here with us and join in if you like, but I don't want to keep you on the phone either.
I'm kind of having fun with this.
Yeah, cool. Well, just stick right on here. If you guys do have questions, some people were asking questions about us in particular or the show. Feel free to shoot those questions, and we'll answer those. What was the one I was like, hold on, we'll answer that. Oh, do we ever get scared? Yeah, so there's a clip up there, which, I also get well, you're not a good PI if they found you, blah, blah, blah. Well, they don't know the situation about the guy who chased me.
Right, so like with that guy, what you don't know as a individual who's being lied to is if you're being recorded. So for instance, let's just say that the woman who hired us to follow her husband heard every word of it. Maybe he's got a recorder in her car or at the house where she talks or whatever. He already knew we were coming there. He already knew we were coming.
Right.
So he already made a conscious decision of what he was going to do once he saw the PI. And then anyway, we were parked in a whole group of cars. There's no way he picked us out. He had to watch, and he went into a residential to see which car followed him. And then he don't know. What if he would have been assaulting some soccer mom that was just...
Right. It was him as a person. He was a dick. The thing is I knew in that moment, because I have experience, I knew in that moment that he didn't, catch on to me. That's not how this went down.
No, he already knew.
Not how it went down. I know when I've been oops, they saw me or I got too close or whatever. I know. This was not that. And there was multiple of us out there that day. And he had every intention of, I don't know if he was trying to physically assault me or what, but what you can't hear, that clip is silent. He's banging.
Oh, yeah.
He tries to physically stop my truck. First, he blocks me in the street where I can't go. Then he puts his hand on my vehicle to try to physically stop my, I'm not, why I'm mad is my dash camera normally takes audio and I'm in my truck I will fucking hit you. Don't, I'm cussing him.
I know.
And so he starts banging on the side of my door and then bangs on my glass as I'm driving off, right? So yes, in that moment, I'm level-headed, so I'm just man, I will fucking run you over. Are you kidding me? But then I had to go pull over.
And calm down.
No, he chased me right after that.
Right.
The clips are backwards, but first he did that, then he chased me.
Right, through the
parking lot. And then he tried to run down and he almost hit me and all that. So once I finally got away from him, I had to duck into a neighborhood, into a cul-de-sac, and I sat down in there until I seen him go by, and then I went the other way. Once I got totally away from him and I knew that he was all the way gone, I had to go sit and calm myself down. Because, if you almost hit something on the road and then your adrenaline's going, you can't drive because your legs are ugh. So yes, in that moment, I had to let go of all that fear and whatever. So yeah, you do get scared sometimes, but it's part of it, and we do know how to protect ourselves. And,
right. Well, one thing is trust your instincts. And I tell all my PIs, if you feel funny, get away. We can come back and check them tomorrow. It's not a problem. But, we had Cassandra, which she's on here, I believe, still watch Cassandra. And one night we had an odd case. Anyway, she ended up calling me and she said, this dude wants me to go onto this property. And then she said, he wants me to get in the vehicle. And I said, that's it. We're out. We're done. And she was like, I don't feel right. So we're like, get the hell out of there. And she actually probably went a little bit further than, maybe I would have. I don't know. But she trusted him a little bit. But if you think that someone is a little bit off, they are. Trust your instincts, whether it be PI work or you're getting on an elevator somewhere at a hotel. If that dude or chick or whatever don't feel right, I don't care if they're dressed in a business suit, step back.
Yeah, it's never worth sticking around to be polite.
No.
F being polite. I don't know what the rules are on live, but I am a cusser. And I hope I don't get in trouble for that on live. I'm like trying to wash my mouth.
Oh, I'm a cusser too.
Yeah, I don't know the rules.
Like,
I mean, I've read through the guidelines, but then I've also watched other people's lives, and everybody's just kind of freely saying whatever. But
what's the charting about? Oh.
Yeah, so let me answer these before I forget. The
Okay.
name of the show is Secrets, Lies, and Private Eyes. The clips are, if you go to my page, the one where he's chasing me, the clip is called I'm Being Chased, and there's 2 of them. I think that was the couple of questions I saw come up. The website, stillwatchpi.com. Send us an email if you're interested in being a private investigator, and we'll try to get you the resources that you need. The chart behind us, this is my first murder case, and this is actually on the show. So if you
Her first case, murder case.
How can it be my first case? It's not.
I mean, as a, fully licensed, go out on your own type PI.
It makes me sound like I haven't been with you since 2007. Anyways, this is my first big case that I took on, and this was my timeline that I was building. So this case is featured on the show, Secrets, Lies, and Private Eyes. It's the Rachel Conger case, and I made a clip of this. I should share it on TikTok so that any investigators out there who want to take this on and break this down can maybe help find her.
This is the timeline from
cops previously. She was married to a cop, and I'm married to military. But we ourselves.
We've never been a police officer.
And if anyone's answering questions for us, thank you. Oh, you're thanking Chris. Okay, cool. Yeah, thank you for anybody who's answering questions for us. I appreciate that.
I can't read backwards on the whiteboard.
Yeah, no, I don't expect you to read that now. I'll make a clip of it to where it's forward and put it up. Or if you're interested, hit me up. So I have an Instagram account, which I'm keeping kind of separate from all the PI stuff. I'm going to keep PI stuff on TikTok. My Instagram, though, is Gaddlife, Gaddlife. And if you want to hit me up about, Rachel Conger's case or me personally, I'm also a cancer survivor. I had a lot of people asking questions about my cancer journey. I'm totally fine for people to just hit me up. I'm an open book, so feel free to ask me questions. But I had somebody message me on TikTok, and I didn't even know you could do that. One of my moderators, she messaged me. So feel free to message me on TikTok or go to Instagram and DM me. Do you have to have a specific college degree? Does it depend on the state anymore?
No. As far as I know, you don't need a college degree to be a PI. You just have to basically pass a test. But passing a test doesn't make you a good PI.
Yeah. I mean, I think the requirements are a little lax. But it would also kind of suck if you did have to be like a prior cop or whatever. Because that would really exclude so many people that would be really good at it. Need people in Pennsylvania. We need people everywhere. So hit us up at stillwatchpi.com. She's working on an online curriculum to help people do not only what's required in their state, but then to get actual training on things that she knows that you're going to need.
I definitely recommend you guys. You guys are awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it's
I was glad to hear you guys were all women staff, all women PIs. It's a little bit more relatable. Okay, you guys understand how we feel. Obviously because you guys are women and stuff. Been there, done that type of deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think there's I think that's part of the problem. Not that I have anything against, obviously, private investigators that are prior cops or whatever. Mm-hmm. But there's a different vibe when it comes to, a man who's prior service or a prior cop. Mm-hmm. They come with their own set of,
way to do things.
Yeah. What am I trying to say? I guess relatable is a good way to put it. We might be more relatable to a wife or even to, we have lots of husbands we work for, too.
Right.
But
Well, for instance, I had a cop
vibe.
recently, he's a PI in Chattanooga. Excuse me. And he would not go into the restaurant on the surveillance, and I wasn't able to go with him because it was a quick deal. Hurry up, get me somebody. And I found this guy, and then he hesitated going in the restaurant. And he was like, they'll see me. And I'm like, well, that's okay. We don't care.
It's fine.
And he's like, well, I can't do that. I'll be blown.
Yeah.
Well, we have so many people. What we do
we'll have a party right next to your
I know.
house. You won't even know.
Right? There'll be like 4 of us. And then, like, I remember one time we were downtown at the, on Commerce, at the Renaissance, at the conference center. And then I was like, we had a headset on, and I said, Buffy, where are you? And she goes, I just walked past you. And I was like, what? And she said, I changed clothes in the bathroom. I said, you just changed clothes? She goes, yeah, but I think she saw me. So we'll be, like, whenever we're in the lobby of a hotel, there'll be like 4 of us, and then several people carry changes of clothes, especially Buffy's always got 3 changes on her. Anyway, next thing I know, she'll come out with she did have a ponytail, now she's got long hair and makeup in a different outfit, or she's a jogger sometimes, or we don't have our little Yorkie anymore, but like P.I. Ty one time, we had to send her up to Kentucky, and she took her little Yorkie. And what we do see, I know we're giving away our secrets, damn, but anyway.
Thank you, April. I seen that.
We will walk a dog in the neighborhood for a week before the surveillance starts. And so, like, we'll get one of our PIs a room, and she'll take her little dog up there, and she can just enjoy her day. All I want her to do is walk a dog at 8 in the morning and about 6 in the evening. And now what that does is it gets the neighborhood to knowing the dog and the walker, right? So they just think somebody moved in the neighborhood recently. But then when the surveillance starts, and I know Cassandra and Ty both know, Ty she's done that a couple times for us, and that we actually got really good footage when they did do their deed, because this particular subject was particularly nasty. And so he was pretty mean, and he was doing things against what the court said. The court said the kids couldn't be at this particular address. And we knew he was going to take them over there. So what we did was we had Ty walk that dog for a week, and then when they pulled in, she was on the street, and she got it. Yeah. Anyway, and then Cassandra's the one that brought us that case. Because Cassandra's also a hairdresser in Mount Juliet. But been over there, I don't know, 20 years or something.
And they're all starting TikToks too. Ty's so funny. Hers is Still Watch Ty, T-Y-E. Watch T-Y-E.
And
I suggest
she's a realtor.
Her. She's a real estate agent. She's hilarious. She's into fashion and makeup, the whole thing.
Yes.
She's a fun person to follow. The preacher case came up. And that is something that we've got plenty of people on here now. If you guys don't know, how are you for a crazy? Okay. Stillwatchpi.com if you want to hire us. The preacher case, if you're not familiar with it, you can slide over and watch the clips. It's actually just the one clip. The other one TikTok took down. Preacher Part 1. But I wanted her to talk about the preacher case because you need more. You want me to throw mine out? Okay. Because the preacher case has so many little levels of interest, and she's the one who has like the better memory, and so I wanted her to talk about the preacher case.
Oh, you want me to talk about the preacher case?
Yes. So you get a phone call. Everybody ready for the preacher case? This is an 85. He's a little older than that, but we're calling him the 85-year-old preacher. Not for hire right now. That's fine. Shoot us an email if you have any questions or whatever. Stillwatchpi.com. And your wording, I think, was mixed up, so I'm not exactly sure what you were asking. Ready. All right, preacher case. We're going to talk about it. I love this case, and I said in one of the clips, it's one of my favorite cases. Yes, please tell us about the preacher, Pastor Pimpin'. I like that. I'm writing that one down. Pastor Pimpin'.
Well, the pastor's wife, she called and said that she knew her husband had a girlfriend for the past 5 years, and that she already knew where the girlfriend lived, and she knew what days he went over there, and she was okay with it. And so this girlfriend, he had known her since like elementary school. And the wife felt like he needed a outlet for his energies. And so anyway, she allowed it without telling him. So, see,
Okay.
but the wife has a job and a 401k. She has a lot of savings, you know. I mean, pastors are technically self-employed, you know. So, anyway, she said that in the past 2 months, he had been acting quite a bit differently. And she thought maybe there was another party involved because...
He was coming home like even later than usual.
Yes, and also on different days. There was something going on. And she felt like that the woman that he'd been seeing for 5 years was his age, also in her 80s. So that... What she said is, there's no funny business going on over there, I can guarantee it. And so, but she said, something's going on, something's different. And so, anyway, of course, we watched him a little bit, and he went with the other girlfriend. We didn't mind that or whatever. But then, boom, watching him, and he goes to a hotel.
Hey, Jamie, glad you're here.
And then...
Oh, but I wanted to say, this is the first case, I think, we've ever been sent to the Paramore's house to start the surveillance. You know what I mean? Like, like a known, like, I want you to go to his
girlfriend's house and
start
watch
surveillance
him.
from there, because that's where he'll be.
Right.
Like, okay.
So then her main problem was that her husband was trying to get her to get a large amount of money out of her 401k, and she has to sign.
Oh, okay.
And so she said she knew the other woman that had been in his life for 5 years, and she said she don't need money. And she knew kind of who she was in her situation, and she said somebody else in the picture that he's trying to give money to. The first time we saw him at the hotel, he waited at the hotel, but he ended up coming out the door and he was texting, and I could tell he was frustrated, and I think that he got stood up. But once we saw the hotel, she started telling me, he's really pressing me for the money. She started to confide in me. She said, something's not right. He's not supposed to be at a hotel, so this is the deal. So anyway, we continued with surveillance. A week later, we caught him at the hotel, and then the party arrived. We saw him with another woman, much younger. She was in her 50s.
No, not that. The one at the motel, the stranger. She was younger than
39. She was like 49. She just looked good.
Oh, okay. I thought she was like early 30s.
I ran a background check on her. Anyway, she was like 49. So, I guess if you're 80, 50-year-old,
maybe
look pretty good.
Yeah, standing next to him, I was like, damn.
So they stayed in the room for an hour, and then he's very much a gentleman. He walked her to the car.
I think he kissed her on the hand.
He did.
That's the clip that got
taken
taken
down. He kissed her in her
sweet.
car.
Being so sweet.
Oh, he's such a good guy.
I mean, and you're half cheering him on, right? I see somebody, leave him alone. I mean,
I love them all. You know what? I love the cheaters as much as I love my clients.
I'm just like, look at him. He's got all his energy.
And I was kissing her hand. I was like, he's a little doll.
Yeah, little sweetheart.
No wonder his wife lets him do it, because he's got a lot of love to give.
Yeah, seemed like a very sweet dude.
And so I followed the chick home, right? That was the issue. Okay.
85 older. It's 85-year-old preacher, but he's actually older. We're just not giving out his actual age, but he's older than 85.
So I go follow the surprise, what'd you call her, stranger?
Yeah, the stranger.
I followed the stranger home, and then I ran all the tags on the property, so it was like 4 sets. Well,
because we also had people passing your house at that time. Because we're all camered up. Like, you're not going to want to come.
Oh, right. Yeah, if you go down this street,
it's
it's not just us that'll get you on camera. But anyway, yeah, we had that going on. I had a client kind of stalking me a little bit. I mean, a subject, not a client. Anyway, when I ran all those tags, I saw we had 3 different criminals. Now, the stranger, she wasn't a criminal per se. I didn't have anything on her, but all the members in her family or in that house were all criminals. So then I got a little concerned about it. So like the next morning, I got a call from the client, and she was in a total panic state. And she was like, oh, you got to help me right now. He took $18,000 out of my checking account this morning, and I think he's going to use it to have me killed. Well, I said, we can call the police. And she said, already did. They can't do anything. They can't do anything unless, until you're already dead. Okay. And so I talked to her for about an hour. I take notes because I'm a thinker. So while she's talking, I'm thinking. But then I finally told her, there's only one thing to do here. I need to call that stranger, the other girl, the other woman. I need to give her a holler. I need to get her on the phone. I said, there's one way to stop a murder, and that's to call somebody and be like, yo, are you fixing to murder somebody? And then they'd be like, oh, no, somebody knows. And so I said, do you mind if I call her? So she's like, yeah, give her a call.
And this is me in the desk next to her, like, you're just going to call this woman and ask if she's a hitman? You're just going to call her and ask her that? Like, oh, excuse me, ma'am.
So I did call her. She was like super nice. And I was like, it was like talking to me. I was like, hey, you don't know me. And she's like, uh-huh. And so I was like, well, I'm just going to get to the point. I've been following you, and I know that you have a visit with a friend at a particular hotel. And I think you're meeting that person there like every Wednesday. And you're there from this time to that time, and I have you on video. And she said, okay. And so I said, I have a crazy question for you, but I have to ask. And she said, go ahead. I'm willing to talk to you. I'm not hiding anything. I said, okay. So I said, are you in a relationship with this man? Yes, I am. How long? I think she said 90 days, and that she met him 6 months ago. And so, okay, so I said, well, by any chance, are you or anyone that you know trying to have his wife killed? And she said, what? No, what? Why are you asking me that? Who are you? What's your number? She was like, why are you asking me these questions or whatever? And so I said, you're married, right? She said, yes, I'm married. My husband's fully aware of everything that I've done. And I said, okay. And I said, I'm not trying to threaten your marriage or anything. I just want to know, are you going to have this woman killed? And she said, no. And why would you think that? And I said, well, he took $18,000 out of the bank this morning. And she said, I know he did. He told me. And I said, oh, he told you? She said, yeah, he tells me everything because he's completely honest with me.
You imagine answering that call on this live?
I can't answer that right now. It's a client, but she'd have something to say.
We're going to get her on live. So.
She's coming on, but not right now. You're not ready.
Yeah, we're going to prepare y'all for that.
Y'all get ready for some high energy.
Anyway.
Anyway, so the young lady, she's 50. Anyway, she talked. She was really nice. And I even told my husband, I was like, it was like talking to me because she was super upfront about it. She told me where they met. She told me how it happened. Yeah. And she said he's worried about his health. He's getting older and he needs somebody to talk to. And she said, I know you're not going to believe me, but all we do in that room is talk. And I said, well, that's not my business. And so what is my business is his wife. And then she said, I have to hang up now because I have to digest this. And I said, okay. We hang up. So then about an hour later, I don't even think it was an hour. It was probably like 40 minutes because I was driving to Nashville. By the time I got to Nashville, she gave me a call back and she said, I want to speak to his wife right now. She said, I can't let this lay. And she said, if she thinks I'm trying to have her killed, the only way that I can ease her mind is I need to call her. And she said, I'm willing to meet her, call her, whatever. So I said, okay, let me call her and give you a call right back. So I called her and she's like, absolutely, give her my number. And so I put that over there and they worked it out. Excuse me, about a week later, I called my client to see how things were going. And she said he came home, but he's mad. And he's been in his room for like a week. And she said, but he brought the money back. And apparently he said that he borrowed it from the first girlfriend. And then he had to repay her. But instead of repaying her, he brought it home. Because right after he withdrew the money, of course, we were there on surveillance and we saw him, and it was near the holidays. He took the first other woman and he took her shopping. And
girlfriend.
Yeah, he took his girlfriend and he took her shopping all around the mall and they went to different stores.
Sounds like my husband.
Yeah, and they came home with lots and lots of bags of stuff. And it was Christmas. Anyway, but he did bring the money home. And that's the last we heard of them. But
well, that's it. So the reason why I said on my clip that this was one of my favorite cases is because I remember you were talking to them and the wife ended up saying, I just want X from him. I don't know what it was. I just want him to take me to dinner. I just want him to take me shopping. And then he just said, I just want someone to listen to me. I just want someone to talk to me. And they end up reconciling when they realize the needs that each other needed met. And I found him to be so sweet and like...
Her too. And that's what she said. I love him.
Yeah, they love each other. And so all this dramatic stuff and everything, and they just end up staying together. And,
yeah, it got scary for her.
Yeah, I just thought I like it when it ends like that.
Yes.
So it was cool.
Yeah, they don't always break up.
Yeah, thank you guys for answering questions. I see that people are answering questions. There's somebody named Big Kurtz, which... You mean curtains? Like, what does Big Kurtz mean?
60th anniversary.
Wanted me to say hi. You see what I'm saying, Mary? What do we mean by Big Kurtz? What's that?
Yeah.
Is Kurtz your last name?
I didn't catch that.
But hello, because you said to say hi to you, so hello. And we're Nashville Private Investigators. We have a show called Secrets, Lies, and Private Eyes on Discovery Plus. For anybody that has joined and
I'm
has
Renee.
no clue.
That's
Renee, Amy.